out Sovereign Health through the internet. I just happened to look up anger management, and it was there, and I spoke to a representative here that was very empathetic to my situation. I was right at the bottom of my barrel, and I didn't want to live like that anymore. She talked to me, and we conversed over a 2 to 3 week period of time before I came here, back and forth. I was concerned about some issues, but she quenched that doubt that I had in my mind to where I was able to focus on me, and not worry about the insurances or whatever was taking place. A lot of people have those issues, but if you kind of let that go and let you get into this program as soon as you can without those worries, it's a healthy thing. And I think Sovereign does what they can, do the best they can with the insurances and everything else. It may not be the fastest that we may want it to happen, but it's going to happen, and it's going to be happening in the right way. As I said, I work in a high school, and I had a little road rage situation on the way home from work one day where a car passed me up going about 60 miles an hour on a 35-mile-an-hour street. As I got up to the intersection, it's a 2-lane street and a turning left in an intersection. Well, this car cut across me into that left lane, forcing me almost into 2 oncoming lanes of traffic. So I'm not the person to get out of a car, but this time I did. And not knowing who the person was, I went right to the window of this Z350, and I let this person have it with both barrels. Just mother F, blah, 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 this. Bad words coming out of my mouth, just anger you couldn't believe. So that was one of the incidences. I did take it upon myself to let the administration know that this had happened, and through that particular instance, their investigation kind of put me in the light of being a bully to the student, because I used the system after finding out from another student who was a witness that this was the particular person that did it. So I used the system, and that was the no-no that I got suspended 2 days without pay for. So that was one of them. Prior to that, I would have the rage incidences, the anger instances at home, and it got to the point where every one of my kids, I have 3 kids, an 18-year-old, a 15-year-old, and a 13-year-old, who celebrated her birthday 3 days ago without me being there. And they all said, nobody wants you here. And another incident saying, or my wife saying to me that, I don't love the man you become. And when you hear that, it sends a spiral of feelings through your entire being. If you have that, again, I'm not an addictive personality type, but it sent off self-esteem issues. It's the depressions, all kinds of things. But I'm working through those things. I'm becoming healthy with how I feel about that, and I've thought every day, every moment of every day, I think about my family and getting back to them to be the healthiest person I can for them and me, for me personally, because I can't live like this anymore. I'm from the Midwest. I knew I needed to get away from my life in the Midwest. When I looked at the website, I noticed that their location was San Clemente, California. Where's San Clemente? I don't know. I looked on the map and saw it. It says, this is the perfect place for me. first impression was that the people here are good at what they do. They took me into an intake room. I met a gentleman that was a pretty tall gentleman. I kind of opened up right away to him and said, "You must be a basketball player." And he was. He played outside of the United States, but during that interaction, I felt comfortable with the people that were asking me questions enough to divulge even some secretive things that I've never divulged to anybody before. So I felt comfortable that they were going to do their part on the business end of it, and I just let it go at that. But I felt very comfortable from the beginning. My residence is on a busy street. It's a corner home. As I walked into this house and all these people are looking at me and stuff like that, I was nervous. Didn't know what to expect. The entire flight here from Illinois was ridden with, thoughts. Usually I would be looking out the window all excited to go someplace, you know how that is. But my entire thought process here was just make myself better, get myself better, get to the point. My first impression was a good one. I've had a great experience with the staff. I have a therapist that is a person that is empathetic, that is understanding. She seems to be probably at least 30 years younger than me, but I've been through therapy, counseling sessions with things in the past, but they've been the 1 hour type of sessions, and the looking at your clock and, oh, well, it's time, we'll see you next week. I knew that program wasn't going to work for me anymore. It didn't work in the past. I was misdiagnosed. I had ADHD, and that didn't even come into the equation when I did it with these 1 hour sessions with these clinical social workers and stuff like that. So my therapist is a blessing to me. I look forward to every time I meet with her. The initial time that I met with her, she did her homework, she was prepared, she talked to my wife, she uncovered some background information from my wife who doesn't sugarcoat anything. She's not a bitter woman, she's a very strong woman, but sometimes your heart and your head don't sync together. Your heart is telling you one thing, your head is playing games with you and sending you all different places, good and bad. You don't know, but what my therapist did through my wife and talking to her, and what she revealed to me in therapy was a weight off of my shoulders that allowed me to kind of get even more focused and open in what I needed to talk to the therapist about. So I'm blessed to have her as my therapist. I like their art therapy. It's always taken me away to where you're being mindful of what you're trying to create, and it just takes you away. It's always been that for me. After my little stint of becoming an artist, so to speak, and suffering a loss from my creation, and then resurrecting my creation. This was outside of therapy, but you tell yourself that you're an artist sometimes, and that's, I think, what it takes to become an artist, a creation, a loss, and a recreation, and that's what brings you there. So. My typical day in treatment here has been one to approach whatever the therapists that are running the sessions are saying with an open mind and with zeal, with total commitment to absorbing everything I can, and to also contributing to the others. I tend to talk a little bit long, and I get that from my kids too, but I think by being allowed to, voice my feelings as long as it takes was a very helpful thing. I did, on the other side of the coin, probably run over my allotment of time in a session the other day, and I kind of felt the anxiety and the anger like ramping up in me, and as the therapist that was running the session said, are you finished? I said, no. I says, no, I'm finished now. And I used the tone that probably, shocked her, because I was taking this program, I wanted to be the model citizen. I wanted people to get hope from my sobriety, because I'm not addicted, I'm not an alcoholic. But as I learned about their illness, it helped me understand that, it's a hard thing to kick. But if you want something bad enough, you're going to work hard enough to get it. And that's how I approach each one of these sessions that I go through. I'm going to take a lot of positive things away from here, some coping techniques, some things that are going to hopefully allow me to get my rocket off the launching pad and to take the rods out of my nuclear reactor, so to speak. But I think I'm going to take mostly the sharing of the therapist that I have, and how she's helped me become more healthy. This was probably one of the toughest, bravest things I've ever done in my life, to muster up the courage to leave my family for a month period of time and to come to this treatment program that I had no idea of whatsoever. I'm not a drug addict or an alcoholic. I don't even smoke cigarettes. But what I truly believe Sovereign Health can do for people, if you let the program work. Listen what I'm saying, it's a very important aspect. Instead of hearing what the negativities of things people are saying, what they're writing on the website, whatever they're doing, listen to your own heart. This program is to recover you, to get the real you back, even to find the real you if you don't know who that is. I've heard numerous stories of the ineptness of this or that. You know what? Don't shoot yourself in the foot. Don't believe that kind of negative talk, because you know what? If Sovereign didn't know how to do their business, they wouldn't be in business. And from my viewpoint, I'm letting them handle that. I have the trust in them that they're going to get to my underlying issues that are going to make me a healthy person, and it's going to make me a rock star dad when I get home. So this means a lot to me that they've asked me to speak to people that are looking to come to treatment. It made me feel good. It was a blessing in disguise, and I'm proud to let you know that Sovereign Health is the real deal if you're looking for real help.